right now. And we have a special guest with us today. So, for those who were with us last week, we talked a lot about LinkedIn. And I had a for instance on LinkedIn where it got me some business, right? And so a lot of folks are not using LinkedIn at a high level right now. And I wanted to bring on Miss Tracy Duhaney. She's with us today as a special guest, and she's with the Ambicelli Group. Tracy does a lot of coaching and training in our area, but also nationally on collaboration over competition. How many of you have heard that before? And it's not about who's your competitor, but how are you collaborating together? When it comes time for LinkedIn, many of you have 500, 1,000 plus, 2,000 plus connections on there because that's kind of your resume social media right there. So people within your industry that are connected with you from typically your school that you went to, typically your college or postgraduate courses, your businesses that you've worked with, and there's always people who are always trying to look to get business as well through LinkedIn. However, I think that LinkedIn is a low hanging fruit for us to get stronger connections with folks all over the US, but also hyper local too. So I'm going to let Tracy talk a little bit about how you can achieve this with some quick and easy, simple steps. So, Tracy, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Kristen. It's nice to see you. I like the green and pink and orange top or dress that you have on. Very bright. I love that. Rose, we met. Bobby, I love the picture that's there. I think that's a cupcake or a muffin, which is making me hungry, so I'm all about it. Donna, I don't know what you look like, but it's nice to meet you. And I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Felicia. LinkedIn is actually one of those tools that a lot of people shy away from because they think it's just another social media platform that if you have Facebook, if you have Instagram, for those who may have TikTok or anything else, that they don't want to manage yet another platform. The thing with LinkedIn is the mindset of those who are engaging on it. They are there to do business. They're not just there to show the highlight reel of their lives or what they have going on personally. They are there to engage. And I think that's a great thing to remember when it comes to why you want to engage with LinkedIn. When I first started using LinkedIn for collaborative outlets, I wasn't really sure how to go about it. And I really just started honing in on what makes me unique and letting my brand voice translate through LinkedIn in what I'm posting, but in also how I'm connecting with people through their messaging, as well as the comments that you engage with on each post, not just your own, but other people, and really hyping other people up so that their message gets shared to your network as well to show that you're supporting them. Not only do you want to be supported. And LinkedIn in itself has evolved over the years. If you have LinkedIn and remember maybe even 5, 10 years ago, it was very generic. You had your picture, you had your digital resume, and then you may post something, but like Felicia said, you were just connecting with people for connecting's sake. Now you have the ability to personalize LinkedIn and really showcase a little bit more of your personality, but also you can tailor it to the different aspects of your business or the brand that you're looking to promote. And just out of curiosity, does everyone here have a LinkedIn? Kristen, yes. Rose, do you have a LinkedIn? Bobby and Donna, I can't tell if you do. If you want to do a thumbs up, since you're not on camera, if you do. Oh, you do. Oh, thank you for the thumbs. That thumb came out of nowhere. That scared me for a second. But good job. I appreciate that. But so great. Let me rephrase. Are you using LinkedIn right now? Kristen, you are. Rose? No. Bobby? Surprise me with a up or down thumb. Down. Okay. Not using it. Not sure what to post from Donna. I love that. Okay. So here's what's interesting. I use LinkedIn for both a hybrid of personal and professional because I truly believe that the people that I'm connecting with want to know a little bit about me if they're going to engage with me, not just what I do, because I can have the perfectly curated version of myself online and I can tailor it to say who I am, what I do, and why you should work with me. But at that point, I'm just another AI generated figure mystery online. You need to see something about who I am, just as if you would network in person and get a feel for my personality, how I network with you, but also how I interact so that you feel connected to me in a sense to even want to pursue a relationship. So for my LinkedIn, when we go about what to post, I do a combination of what I do, some of my speaking engagements, areas of focus, but then I also post personal stuff. For example, the other day I went skydiving. I posted a post about that, what I learned from it. I will post about just something I was thinking about in the office and a picture of my coffee mug because there was a saying on it, right? Because you never know how it's going to land with the different people in your network. If you have over 1,000 people in your network, if you really sit and think to have 1,000 people around you, 1,000 people, you probably wouldn't be able to see from you to the last person. That is a lot of people. So, whatever you're posting, even if you only get 10 likes, it may seem small, but that's 10 people that connected with what you posted. And that way you can start to engage a little bit more with them. And at least you have an idea of what is working with your network. And it's going to be trial and error. I'm going to be very honest with you. There's no secret sauce to this. The algorithm changes. At this point, it seems weekly. Something that could have been posted last week and it was high engagement. You post something similar this week and it's low engagement. It has nothing to do with you necessarily. It's really the algorithm. And that is one of the problems, so to speak, with social media and relying on that solely for your marketing efforts. But it's also another outlet that when people meet you, they're going to Google you. What comes up, right? They want to know all about what you're posting online. And LinkedIn will populate from a business perspective, and you want it to highlight a lot of what you do, but also who you are. So I have found a lot of success when it comes with networking with people on LinkedIn, primarily to follow people that I want to connect with, see what they're posting about, see what their focus is. But then also when they do post, I engage on their posts. If they're asking questions, I respond. I am in groups that we have similar interests and I pay attention to what is being posted and I comment on it. I don't just like and then keep scrolling because everyone does that. You need to have the intentionality behind it to say, okay, how can I contribute to the messaging behind this post? So my comment is highlighted, but also somebody may be inclined to click on my profile. And when they click on my profile, what do I want them to see? Or what do I want to be highlighted so that they are intrigued? Maybe they will reach out to me. Or if I see them commenting multiple times or engaging multiple times, that's an opportunity for me to then, through messaging, reach out and you'll see what you have in common if it's people or if it's similar group interests. And that's just an opportunity to say, hey, I see we're in the same group or we like the same things. This is what I do. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you like that or what your interests are with that so I can see how we can partner together? And you'll be surprised for people who are highly engaged in LinkedIn. They will respond as long as you're not doing one of those cold call emails or direct messages that we probably all get 10 of those each day. And I ignore them, I'll be very honest. You have to pay attention as to who's engaging with you and what they're engaging about. And that takes that intentionality side into it. I also will say for joining the groups that are there, it's important to do so because in those groups, not only are you going to have similar minded people, but they're going to post best practices. They're also going to post industry habits. They're going to post different things that you may not have realized initially, or it could be a prompt for greater discussion where you may have the expertise to then take it a step further. And that way you are highlighted as an expert in the field, but also someone who other people want to connect more with just to say, okay, I liked what you posted here. Tell me more. And that opens the door for an email conversation to take it offline and then potentially a Zoom conversation. And if you're in the same area, a coffee conversation. It all starts from there. The biggest part for this is going to be don't just connect with someone and say, okay, well, we're in the network. They're going to see what I post. They'll reach out. That's very passive. It has to be an active engagement. I don't just go through the funniest part is if anyone has Facebook and Facebook has people you may know. And if you see the memes right now that says, yes, I know them, I just don't want to connect with them. I saw that, Kristen, you understand what I'm saying. But for LinkedIn, there are the groups that say people you may know. And because we have X amount of connections in common. Okay, well, are those connections in the same industry, or is it because we were connected at a job I worked 10 years ago? Don't just start connecting with people because LinkedIn tells you you may know them. That's not intentional, right? Who do you need in your network to further broaden your external network to really get you that access and that business? That's the mindset to have with it. I would also say LinkedIn does a great job when it comes to news and stories that are trending in the public eye. Keep an eye on that because there may be something that is relevant to your industry or your job or your role that you can easily share that snippet or that article as well. Again, you're showing that you are intentional with your education in your field and what you want to share with people so that people come to you as a resource, not just, hey, I know her. Okay, well, why do you want to know me? Why do I want to know you? How can I best connect? That's something that LinkedIn has done a very good job with because it helps business-minded individuals who are looking to grow continuously and take the next step really continuously push forward in a supportive way, not just I have to discover and I have to seek and I have to find. It all comes to your dashboard, which is great. Any questions so far? No? All good? Thumbs up, thumbs down, some of the cross, anything? Some feedback. I appreciate it. Thanks, Rose. Anybody else? Some feedback. Good. Okay. Appreciate it. I will say for the messaging side of LinkedIn, thank you, Donna. I started doing specific tailored messages to contacts that may not have been in my network, meaning I don't have a mutual connection necessarily, but I really wanted to get to know them because they were either someone who I aspired to be like, or I saw that they had success in an area that I was looking to have success in, and reaching out with a personalized message. And it all started with the title of the message to increase the chances that the message was going to be open. So again, it didn't sound like spam, so to speak. And at that point, it was also okay, so at some point, there's some people I really wanted to connect with, and I kind of stalked them a little bit on Google, if I'm honest. And I used some of what I found to add to the message, and it took one or two tries, and then they finally responded. And then we took that offline to an email base, and I've had great connection and subsequent business opportunities that have come out of that because I was persistent with it. That's the thing. LinkedIn is not going to be a once and done. Oh, it didn't work. It's not going to be viable. You have, just like any other networking opportunity, you have to be intentional and persistent because people are bombarded. I'm not spending hours on LinkedIn. I go on, I don't even have my notifications set to send me anything forward. I go on once for the day. I check the comments that come forward. I respond to them. I engage. Oh, that was weird. Okay. Okay. It just changed. I was like, I am now center. Okay. It changed. Uh, I engage with them. I check the comments. I see what has come forward. I may check the groups that I'm in to see what has been posted, but that's it, right? Because I can get pulled into the downward spiral that is another social media platform, and I don't want to do that. But it is going to be necessary to spend some time on it daily, especially as you're building your digital network. Outside of that, I will tell you one of the things that my company did, I have my personal page and I have the company page. It is a lot to keep up two pages. It is a full-time job to do that. I hyper focus on my personal page because that, as I said, people will connect with me. I can tell them about my business separately. Every post that I do on my personal page, I tag my websites to it so that people can engage and track and go there. And that way they can see more about what I do. I make it easy for them. If I say, hey, connect with me, I put my email in there. The less people have to dig and search, the better it will be. And I can take it from there to say, okay, one one step ahead of them to make it easier for them. The last thing I'll say is don't be afraid to post what may have been previously deemed as unprofessional items on LinkedIn, meaning if there's a funny post, a funny photo of you and kids, grandkids, or if there's just something of you when you were having fun or doing something different and that may not seem buttoned up and quote professional, I shouldn't post that. Again, you're showing your personality. You're showing who people will get when they work with you. You're showing your authenticity, and people appreciate that, because gone are the days where people only want to work with the suits. And there's actually those that are anti-suits, because suits means that you're hiding somewhat behind a facade, and people want to see who they're working with. They want to build connection. I will tell you, you can use ChatGPT as a support to help you with ideas of what to post on LinkedIn, especially if you tell it what your mindset is and the outcome you're looking to accomplish. Just I beg you, don't copy and paste what ChatGPT generates and just put it in LinkedIn, because it is obvious when people do that with how things read on LinkedIn. At least add your personality to it, edit the sentences, change it up a little bit, because what you also don't want is that people just see that you're just copying and pasting. Maybe you really don't know what you're talking about. You're just being a user for AI. That is not going to help you. People are smart. People are looking beyond that. When you do that, you may actually lose credibility and followers, and you're going in the opposite direction. But definitely use it to generate ideas, because it can also pull the trends of what's going on in the industry right now. And it can help you say what you want to focus on this week or this month. And I've done this where I've said, okay, can you create the next 6 weeks worth of content topic that I want to focus on? And it will generate the prompts. And then from the prompts, I know what I need to type up. And a great tool for LinkedIn is that you can schedule your posts. If you are anything like me where you don't have time, I take one day, and that's my marketing. It's usually Monday, my marketing Monday. I create all my posts, all my content, my articles. I type everything up and I put it into LinkedIn and I schedule it. And then I forget about it. And then you'll get an email that says, "Oh, your post went live today." Oh, forgot today was the day. Great. Right? But that's what it is, because you have to be intentional, but we don't have time to be going on and doing this every single day. So I love that LinkedIn has that ability, especially for a business-based platform. That is super helpful. And I would say also, I haven't really become well versed in this aspect and working towards it, but LinkedIn has added video as a post type. And if you think business reels, so to speak, and it's an interesting area. I haven't watched a lot of the videos, but I know that when videos were launched, that's where a lot of the algorithm was pulling from to get you exposure. And it doesn't have to be long snippets, but at least show you or show product, or post different types of things. Don't always just post a photo and verbiage. Post an article, eventually do a video, have all the different content types so that you show yourself to be multifaceted and that your business is well-rounded. I think that's all I have.
This is great. This really helps a lot because, all of us get messages all the time on LinkedIn. How many of you do? Because I know that I do. A lot of times they're soliciting for business. Do you want leads? Do you want referral leads? I get them all the time, right? Do you want me to help set up your AI business, your AI bot, whatever the case may be? But every now and then we do get some really good messages that come through. And so being able to figure out what those next steps are and how to engage is huge, because I think I have over 1,600 people on my LinkedIn and I'm not using it at the highest level that I should. So this is really helpful. What did you all find to be helpful for today? Did anyone find any tips that were helpful for today?
Can I respond to Frankie really quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Frankie, you commented that you get job offers and you don't like it. When you go into your messaging, you have the ability to sort through what you want it to focus on. And that has been helpful because, everyone has the next big thing for you, and they're the solution to all of your problems. And after a while, you realize all the messages are exactly the same. They just change who they're coming from. And I have it sorted, and so I stay focused versus it being spam. So LinkedIn is doing better as to weeding out the spam, and you can have it that you only see it from people who are your connections versus, those that are job related, etc. And that's helpful because at this point, LinkedIn knows what's happening. And I'm glad that you said that, because the other part is be careful who you accept as a connection. Because when people start sending you a request to connect, I always look at it and say, okay, at the end of the day, when you look at this and say that person, that photo looks very AI generated, and what they're listing as um their job title does not seem right, or get 10 times more leads, or etc. I don't know if I want to connect with you. They can still follow you, but I don't know if I want to connect with you so you have so much access to me. Be intentional from that as well, because that doesn't mean that they don't see what you're doing, but it just means that you have some control parameters around that, because that can be helpful, because some of this is just like anywhere else. It could be AI generated accounts that are pushing this forward, because some people really use the metrics as the amount of followers that you have on LinkedIn as success. And that's really not. You could have, I think, Felicia, you said 1,600 connections. There's some people who have 10,000, but out of the 10,000, how many are actually real people? Right. So it comes, but I wouldn't focus on the amount of connections that you visibly show, but the value of the connections themselves. So if you have 10 of the right connections that are collaborative and they want to help promote you and support you, that's better than having the 1,000. And I'm sure everyone would agree. So just keep in mind for some of the messaging too, you have some control with limiting what comes forward, or limiting at least what you see. And Donna, I think I saw a message from you as I was talking. Videos. So honestly, personally, I think 1 minute videos are great, because everyone has a short attention span, myself included. And until it is something that I want to learn more, where I can always click to go to any other channel, if I'm going to now make up my mind to say I'm going to watch a 30-minute video, okay, I'm in the mindset for that. But if I'm on LinkedIn and I'm scrolling, it's going to capture me. The most it's probably going to capture me for is 30 seconds to a minute, unless the content is truly captivating, and in which case I'm going to want to learn more. So I wouldn't overdo it. And I will tell you, for anyone who's ever been on a call where you're listening to someone say, okay, well, this is what we're doing now, this is what you learned, very monotone, just very generic, you're going to lose people. It's really where we are, the day and age that we're living in, that not to say you have to have the theatrics, but that's where your personality really needs to come through. You need to be able to connect with people even if you've never met them in person. So just keep that in mind. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I think that's really helpful too. I last week, I know we talked about this briefly. I did get a lead through this. Someone reached out to me and connected because of the content that I had. And so it's important to know that we talk about building your bod, building your board of directors. And if you're not sure who you should connect with, who you shouldn't connect with, there's so many people on your LinkedIn that are within your funnel, within your realm of what we're doing and who can help you. And if you have like-minded folks in common, getting in front of them, trying to build those relationships, I think is huge. And it helps for you to expand that. Because for some of you who are just learning how to build up your board of directors, which Tracy is all of the folks who we're reciprocal for referring to, I do my board of directors a little bit different. I have ones that are more intimate for me in my inner board of directors. And then I have the ones who maybe they're not so connected to me, or I want them to be connected to me a little bit more in my outer board of directors. And so I kind of categorize people into two different segments, because there are some people who you're going to jive with, you're going to be working with on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. That might be title, elder law attorneys, your mortgage company, whoever your senior move manager, whoever you're really doing business with on a daily basis. But then there's folks who are in that outer. And so with that LinkedIn, that's beyond the outers. You want to get them into the first ring in my mind, because I'm very visual, and then get them into the inner ring. But Frankie, I see your hand is up.
Yes, sorry, my internet is just horrible. I apologize. I had kind of cut out there. But thank you, Tracy, for that response. I have two questions. So when I say super novice, when it comes to LinkedIn, I it's a little intimidating to me because it's kind of hard to understand it. Like some of the when I browse it, I sometimes see like there are people under their names, it'll say first or second or something like that. I don't understand that part. So that's if you could kind of tell me what that is, that's my first question. And then my second question that I have is I post on all my other social medias pretty consistently. And can I just use that content and put it onto my LinkedIn? Because I think, is it LinkedIn is more for like the professional people or not for like just a regular person? I don't know how to say it, but
I get what
can
you're
I
saying.
just use that content from my like my Facebook, for example, and post it to my LinkedIn?
So let me answer the first question. If you tie into what Felicia just said with external and internal board of directors, I like to look at it as a bullseye. And if you look at a bullseye with, when you're playing darts, you have the center and then you have outer rings that span outward. So if you use the first, second, third connection designation, if you think of it like a bullseye, the first designation is really those that are closer to you based on the amount of connections that you have in common. Or it could also be based on where you're located as well as the connections that you have in common. And they're the higher probability of those people. Um, Actually, I just lied to you. First connections means you're connected. That you're actually, if I remember correctly, connected. Second means it's the amount of connections you have in common. Third means that you have less people you have in common. They're less likely to be in your network, but there is still something, whether it's a group or a similarity that you happen to see them by. And that's why you'll see third plus, because then it goes out from there as to, I could, for example, for you, Frankie, apart from Felicia, I may not have anyone else in common with you. So you may be a third in my book, unless you lived in the same area that I lived in and we attended similar events, in which there was a higher probability that I may have met you in person. But first connections means that we're connected on LinkedIn. Um, the second part to what you asked when it came to content, I do use a lot of the same content that I post on LinkedIn and I'll pull it to my Facebook. I do make slight edits because if you think about the demographic you have on Facebook, traditionally that has more family, that has more friends, that has more, if there's a spouse family, it has more of the kids parents, kids friends parents, blah 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 blah. And then you'll have some professional contacts that you have transcended the personal line on Facebook, but Facebook is usually more personal unless you have a Facebook pay business page, right? And in which case the business page would act the same as LinkedIn. But I use some of the same content, but I tweak some of the verbiage that I use because I may add a little bit of slang into my Facebook just so it connects more with the people there, but then I'll keep it fully proper English for LinkedIn. But it'll be the same photo, it could be the same topic, the same theme, and the same message that I want to put forward, but there's slight tweaks that I use. But that also means that I'm aware of how it resonates with my audiences. It may be different for yours. So just keep that in mind. There will be some trial and error with that so you see what lands and what doesn't land.
Okay, that makes sense. I appreciate it. So,
Absolutely.
I'm building up in my CAP Certified Aging in Place Specialist. So when I post on my Instagram or Facebook, I'm trying to educate and reach a specific audience. So when I take it over to LinkedIn, it'll pretty much be the same. Like I'm hoping to make connections, but I understand what you're saying as far as like tweaking it because LinkedIn is more of a like professional setting. That's what I get from LinkedIn.
And
Like
I will
that's
tell you,
where all the professionals are.
I hate that word professional because that word is very subjective because gone are the days where professional is just defined in a box. But at the same time, if you're growing a certain accreditation that you want people to know about, don't be afraid to join groups and post in the groups. This was one of the hardest things for me to get past, where I would join groups and I would see everyone else posting. I had the ability to post, but I would have imposter syndrome creep in and say, well, why would I post in there? Well, if I'm posting it on my personal page and I'm posting it for the thousands of people to see it, why wouldn't I post it in this group? And the first day I posted in the group and people were interacting and they were giving feedback, I was like, oh, I survived. Okay, let's post again. Right. So don't be afraid to search for groups on LinkedIn that are similar or who would have the, or that would have the same or similar people in your profession or who you're targeting. And from there, join the groups and post in there, comment in there, send people back to whether it be your website or another group that you're active in, things like that, because people are looking for more content because this is their form of education. So don't be afraid to post it everywhere because at least you're consistent. And I'd
Very,
also just note that Instagram, because Instagram was designed to be more photo based, you may have less characters available in what you post on Instagram. LinkedIn may give you more characters in terms of text. So you may be forced to tweak it from that aspect because you may not be able to put forth everything in text on Instagram that you would have put on LinkedIn.
very well. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
Yeah, and for those of you who are blogging, because I know a few of you are blogging on here, I use the articles section of LinkedIn and
Mhm.
I post my article there, and then it will give you an option to post onto your LinkedIn page for your article. And the articles are getting a little bit more attention to them. Just another thought on how you could tie it in.
And Frankie, give me an example of the, I guess, organization that would be tied to what you're growing.
Okay, so I'm a CAP certified, which is Certified Aging in Place Specialist, and I'm focusing in on what's called universal design.
Okay.
So I'm that's for people ages 55 and up. So that would be, I guess I would go to my LinkedIn to maybe target that demographic.
So would a Aging and Life Care Association be one of your associations that you'd be either affiliated with or associated with?
What I've never heard of. What is it?
Aging Life Care Association?
Okay, I've never heard of that. No. I mean,
Okay.
I mean, maybe, but I've never heard of it.
Okay, so all I did was put in aging and universal into my search in LinkedIn, and Aging and Life Care Association came up. It's an industry association. Then it
Okay.
brought up for me different. I'm not actually. Can I show
So,
you?
like, for example, with aging in place, meaning like, let's say a retired 50, I'm just giving an example, a
Yep.
retired 55 person, they want to make their home more accessible. I'm using a kitchen, for example. They
Hmm.
want to do some light modifications in their kitchen. So, like, I guess I don't know if I would target like builders or, well, I think that would be right, Felicia? Like, target
Builders,
builders and
builders,
stuff like that on
OT,
LinkedIn. Yep. Okay.
OTs,
So
builders.
can I share
Um,
my screen really quick?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
let me see if I
Uh,
can. I have
yeah,
to
I think
show
it's
you.
letting me. It's letting me right now. Tell me if
Oh,
you see my screen.
yeah,
Okay. What do you see my LinkedIn, correct?
it's double click to enter people's. Uh,
Where it says join, join, join. Do you see that?
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
Yeah, I
okay.
see.
Okay, so all I did was aging in place. Okay. And I did groups. It came up with 188 results. Now, I'm not saying all of these would be applicable to you, but it'd be interesting as you go through to say, okay, if I wanted to join these groups, if I'm a certified aging in place specialist, older adult population, I'm going to join. And it's going to be pending. Now, whoever is going to review as to why am I joining this, they may accept me or not, that it doesn't matter to me personally because I'm not in this space. I'm just giving an example. But then you have a National Aging in Place Council. I don't know if that's something you've known about, but they have 700 members. Like if I click on it, what it's about, senior support network, then it gives me suggestions as to other groups. I mean, this is based off of my parameters, so this may not be applicable to you, but if there's a person in particular who I may want to just click on their profile. Okay, they're in California. Hey, maybe you're in California. Something I have 5 people in common with this person. I don't know I don't know why, but okay. I have 5 people. This is how things can have a domino effect if there's a specific target audience that you're looking for to help build your network. If we're talking about that dartboard or that vision as to which part of the circle you're looking to start with to then have them build inward, right? And then you can have more profiles of similar people. America's Senior Home, I don't know, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
that
very, very well. Like that, you just, this 20 minutes, 25 minutes just kind of like helped take the intimidation down for me because LinkedIn was really intimidating. That was like the last one that I said, I'm like, I'm not going on there. I don't get it. But yeah, what you've just explained in the questions that I asked, like really gave a lot of clarity. So I really, really appreciate it.
absolutely, my pleasure. I'm happy to and reach out if you have any subsequent questions. Like I'm happy to answer what I know. If I don't know it, I will tell you full disclosure, I don't claim to be an expert in LinkedIn. I don't claim to be an expert in anything else except what goes on in my head, in which case no one else needs to know that. So at this point,
I
um,
get it.
you
That's
get it.
okay.
Okay, somebody gets it. Somebody
I get
understood where
it.
I was going. Like,
Sometimes I tell everyone I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I'm not a
right,
nurse,
like don't you
but
worry.
I was like, but I could tell you what I've seen and known my whole life in
Right.
this industry. Um,
Exactly.
but this stuff is really important because if we are on these platforms and learning this, I mean, I hope you all found this really helpful. Many of us are part of the National Aging in Place Council. I have the Southwest Florida chapter. I know many of you have chapters all over your area where you are right now, and we're getting more involved. But there's so many others out there. There's Leading Age. There's so many. So don't get overwhelmed with joining all of them. Just see which ones resonates with you first. See who you have for those like people, because like Tracy, I'm friends with Tara Ballman, Jacob Wingy is like, there's going to be people who, and then you're like, oh, maybe I should know who that person is. Maybe they can come and help me in my area type of a deal.
And I will
Um,
say to that point, if we use Tara as an example, if you're trying to connect with Tara and you send a message and she's not responding, and you see that you have a mutual connection, reach out to your mutual connection and say, "Hey, how well do you know Tara? I'm trying to connect with her on LinkedIn. I see that we have you and I are connected mutually with her. Can you help me out?" Right? Because that's the whole benefit of showing those mutual connections, that if you know someone that you can pick up the phone on call and say, help me get introduced or help me with another aspect, utilize that to your benefit. Because yeah, me pulling up Tara, hey, I didn't know I had 5 people in common. There you go.
you
The
do
world is
now.
not smaller than you think.
It is 5 degrees of separation.
There you
Well,
go.
we went over a little bit today, but I hope you all found this really helpful. We will have the recording up because I know a lot of folks didn't get a chance to join this morning. But we thank you, Tracy, for sharing your knowledge and expertise because she's got a great handle on all of this, and she's been really helpful to me and to our resources here in Southwest Florida. So I'm really happy to share that with everyone. So thank you for joining us this morning. We
Thank
really
you for having
appreciate it.
me.
Absolutely. And the recording will be up on our Facebook page, our Facebook mastermind. So we'll make sure to join there if you're not there to see it. And it'll also be on our YouTube page. So we all have a great day. Later on today, there's a mastermind. I believe it's at 11:30 this afternoon. And be sure to tune in because I know that there's some really good tips that are going to be on that mastermind this afternoon. And we hope to see you all soon again. Have a great one.
Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.